So, boys,
Yes,
my
sir.
boys,
Yes, sir.
I brought a topic last week that we didn't get to talk about
Huh.
because
Was it your pocket Bible that you have?
no, but it's my ADHD notebook. Whenever I need to write things down and remember them, I put them in here.
It's the size of a pocket Bible.
Yes,
It
but
also has the fancy marker.
I have to put the Jesus in here. The Jesus doesn't inherently come with it.
Understood.
But since I have not been on the podcast as long as my fellow hosts, I thought I'd bring a topic of the podcast. So, Nerd It Through the Grapevine first released an episode on August 3rd, 2020. Currently, they're up to 234 or 35 as of time of recording, 234 episodes.
And if you've got some free time, check us out on your social media accounts. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we are on TikTok. If you're on Instagram and Facebook, you can get us at Nerd Grapevine. Real easy on that. If you're on TikTok, we've got it under my account on there, just because I'm the one who's mostly on there doom scrolling, and I might as well have the videos posted of our friends gathering together with our snippets of fun that we can have together. We got a few fun ones on there. Hercules Plate's my favorite one so far, just because you get on there. You'll find out. Austin.shazam.phi on TikTok.
And check us out on Patreon. You can support the cause and get some extra content. $5 will get you uncut audio, record button to record button, and $10 will get you uncut video and extra videos like The Smoothening, Nerds Day Out, and Nerds Do Discs. Be sure to check out the link in the description, give us some dollars, and get some extra juice.
Find us on Discord as well. There's going to be a QR code right here. Pa-pa! Check that out. Scan it with your phone. It'll take you right to us. It'll take you to what we like to refer to as the Backyard Bonanza. That's the party where we all hang out, and it's a real good time. There's memes and all kinds of stuff. We're on there live, uncut, uncensored, and irrevocably circumcised.
We're also on YouTube. If you want to check us out on there, get on YouTube, type in Nerd It Through the Grapevine, and watch our videos. It's quite a few things.
That's a few.
Right.
Quite a few things. Clock that into an hourly wage job and see how rich you are.
Right.
And then think about making nothing for it.
Right. No. We do make some things.
We've made some.
We have recouped, and that's because of the
Yes.
the patties. We
Right.
love
Yep.
them.
There have been a variety of hosts on there. The original hosts are Dane, the Rooster, Marcus, I Am Electric Man, and Shazam.
Well, that's if you don't include the episode 0, which has been released on Patreon.
Ooh,
That was the wolf.
okay.
I think that episode was live for a week, maybe 2.
Yep.
Right. Tiny, the Rooster stepped away, and Tiny replaced on episode 17, which I did not know that it was that early. For some reason, I thought it was a little bit later
Hey,
on.
I didn't know it was that early either, because I can promise you at the very beginning, scheduling stuff with Rooster made it seem like it was like twice as much podcast than it needed to be. Like that was half of the dance, was like trying to dance with Rooster to figure out like when he was going to be available. And then he started like being a full-time Walmart associate, and then his life belonged to Walmart. And he's like,
you sign your soul away.
He's like, yeah, I can't be doing this whole hanging out with folks anymore thing.
Right. And then I myself joined on episode 147 after Marcus, I Am the Electric Man, had to step away. You have to say his full government, put the full respect on the name.
You've been here for 100 episodes?
I have been.
Wow.
Or just under, because 147, it was
Yeah.
the Star Wars A New Hope. What did we call that?
Seen it.
Seen it through the grapevine.
We've still never watched.
Was that a guest appearance?
It was.
That
I was a guest appearance first, then I think there were like
Yeah.
3 or 4 episodes, and then I officially
Yes.
joined on. And then there was another guest that I cannot remember their name. They were super early on.
7.
7?
No, because the other 2 guests that I have written down are Seven
Oh,
and Tab.
there's Veston.
Veston was on it.
And then Josh.
Josh was on as a
That's
guest.
yes. Sorry, it was a lot of work going back through all the episodes, because also we did not say like feet so and so on the episode. It was just the episode title. So
Yeah.
trying to go back and listen through and find when things hopped on and off, I had to kind of use a little bit of my own
Right.
knowledge on it.
Yeah, and you have to, like, the titles tell you things if you know how to decipher the code.
If you've listened to the episode, you know what the
And
title means.
also, real quick, Tab had tagged me in a TikTok this week, and that TikTok was of another podcast, and they were talking about, hey, sorry, I can't remember the name of the podcast that I heard this on, but it was, I can't remember what they were talking about, but it was something about grapes. Okay, got your
Okay.
attention there.
Okay.
I can't remember because we've spoken for no less than 234 hours in this, in this podcast area
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
space, digitally. Have we ever talked about if if there were 100 grapes and like one of the grapes was poison and you get like X amount of money per grape for eating the grapes? How many grapes would you eat before you got scared?
You said there was 1 out of 100?
Yeah.
100.
So you'd be rich and dead?
No, you have 20 minutes before you can throw it up. After 20 minutes, it's gone. It's in you.
So,
So you pound them and then you throw them back up. You never said I had to keep them in my body.
That wasn't a stipulation because I don't remember us ever talking about it. But I was also like, that's very grape themed. I don't.
how
remember.
much money are we getting for this?
I don't know, but their post I think had 350 something thousand likes on it.
$10 a piece.
Okay, so you get per grape, but one of them is going to be poison, but there's 100. So.
Yeah, how
Oh, I
poisonous
thought
is
you
the
were
poison?
talking about the lawsuit.
No.
How poisonous is the poison?
Yeah, no, I want to answer the question now. I have a
Oh, it's instant death poison. It's not like
Oh.
a a bitter
Right,
a
so-
bitter
but we-
like a bitter mascara.
So-
or something. I don't know.
I can get back to the rest of what I was talking about, but I'm
yeah.
curious about this. Okay, so you get paid per grape you eat, correct? Is that
Yes.
Yes.
the theory? How much per grape?
10 grand.
10 grand per grape, but one of them will kill you 1 in 10.
Yeah.
So you
And
have
it's instant death upon touching the inside of your mouth.
It's
What?
instant death upon I've ingested that grape.
Well, you didn't say that.
I didn't think about it. I just thought, well, poison's
Because, you
a
know,
risky enough thing.
because,
But
like-
then again,
Yeah,
we
'cause
all
if it's like strychnine or belladonna or any of the other ones, you can just throw them up and you're kind of okay. You're going to be sick.
I mean, we're
It's
okay
not
with
gonna
a
kill you
small amount of
immediately.
poison. You know,
I mean,
we vape. We like a small amount of poison.
Yeah,
at
we
a
were
time.
talking about small amounts of poison in the pre-show. If you're a Patreon member, you know.
That's
If
true.
you're not a Patreon member, why not? Come on. You want to hear extra of us. But some other things that I wrote down were just like some fun facts, some things that I liked about the podcast, some things that, just some different things.
Yeah.
2 of my favorite topics that we've done. One is Southern Poetry. First one of that was episode 54, First Southern Poetry. And then one I really do miss
Wait,
is
it was episode what?
54.
Dang.
Dang.
I knew the first one was back a ways, but I didn't think it was that bad.
I think there was also a pretty big gap in between the first and second.
There was.
I remember when I first started podcasting, Elon Musk
Was like
was just a guy.
he was a guy that people liked.
He was a guy that people enjoyed the idea of him as opposed to what it became.
Right. The other one, I actually this is one back before I was a host and I was a listener. I really enjoyed this one. Tiny's Terrible Tabs.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That hadn't happened in a long time.
it has not.
He can't terrible tab anymore because he uses his
I mean, I could, but it'd be a lot more difficult.
Right.
I'd have to transfer tabs to my tablet.
and I don't want him to start sending me tabs for my tablet so he can.
I mean, I send you all videos that nobody watches.
I watch too many of the videos you send me. If I can find out what else she fits in her ass. Boy, oh boy, do you love that channel.
It just keeps popping up sometimes, and I'm like,
Of course, you keep watching them. That's how
I'm
an
subscribed
algorithm
to her.
works.
I have to know how stupid she is.
Honestly, it's funny, but to
It's
me,
funny. I think most of it is made up for just for the views, because if it's true, her poor doctor.
It's the internet.
it's
You
a
know,
funny.
It's 50-50 shot if it's real or not.
You know it's
Human.
got to be a funny. But I'm sitting on the couch next to my wife who's reading a book, and I'm watching a show that's not very much going on. So I'm bored. I open up my phone. I get on TikTok. Oh,
So Friday I put a butter churn in my.
yeah, that's what I get. To announce my presence into I'm watching something on my phone is so last Thursday I tried to stick an entire 2 liter of my
Yeah. She put a whole lava lamp in her at one point.
That's what, and it's just like every time it happens, I'm like, I say it out loud. It's an out loud response. Damn it, Tiny.
Yeah.
Just so I can know. And oftentimes I'll hear her just a little bit of
Just a little,
just enough because she's in book world, but I got that much.
right? Get that much attention.
Yep.
Uh,
She gets logged in.
right. Oh yeah, I can tell whenever my wife goes on hold with the outside world again, she's just locked into whatever she's doing. There's no getting into that. But
I'll have to be like, hey babe, honey.
you have to pull out their. Have you ever had to pull out their full government name before?
No, I will never.
I've had to do a Heidi, and whenever you pull out a government name with someone that you've not said that to in a while, it is a shock to reality.
I don't like using government name.
No, but one of the fun phrases that we've had on this show is hot, stinking, fecal, garbage. Which we haven't done a hot stinkle in a while.
I don't really know if I've had much kind of circling around that would be considered hot stinkle like that. Because I mean, even stuff that I watch sometimes that I've expected to be hot stinkle, like Yellowstone, I expected that to be hot stinkle, and it just way not up my alley. Fell in love. Now I'm a cowboy.
Sons
Are
of
you using
Anarchy.
It's like-
Cowboys time?
Yeah, it's
Sons
like,
of Anarchy, but with meat-based motorcycles.
yeah, pretty
meat-
much riding through this
meat motorcycle,
world,
meat
boom,
cycles.
on a horse. Like
Oh no!
God takes your land. You gotta kill God. Like, I don't know. It's just what they do.
Yeah, that sounds like an isekai start, or not an isekai, but like, oh no, cowboy isekai. A cowboy gets
Oh, and
transported
you
into
get
another world. That's to fight God, but as cowboy.
Oh my! That's honestly take them to the train station. That's what they do.
Oh my God!
There was another hot stinkle that I was expecting to be hot stinkle, but it made me freaking cry. The Venom, The Last Dance.
Really?
It had no right.
I haven't. I've only watched the first Venom. The first Venom I expect to be bad. It's not a great movie, but it's not a. It's entertaining.
I haven't seen any of them.
It's an entertainment. That's all it is. It's not meant to be this giant, expansive universe that has to have all these interconnections. It's
Thank
just
God.
involving Venom. If Venom attached to Eddie Brock, and there was no Spider-Man.
Right, and it's
Isn't
not.
it Agent Venom?
Ish.
Gotcha.
He's not really wanting to conform to what you would consider hero.
Well, I mean, Agent Venom was more of an anti-hero anyway.
He always comes off that broken speech like that, and trying to get that always gets me into
Yeah.
because he gets better as the movies go along.
Really?
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't
Like, he
watched
grows.
besides the first one.
He grows in it, and he grew too much.
Now he's too much. Right.
Okay, go on.
So the podcast has been held in several different places. We've had, I think this is our fourth rendition of the Grape Sack Prime because you had the rent apartment, then we've had two different ones out there and one different one in here.
This is the best.
This is by far the
Right.
best.
Number one,
The first one was probably the worst.
Matchbox.
Well, hold on. I don't know if the first one or the last one was the worst because they were both pretty fucking bad.
The last one lasted way longer.
Way too long.
Way longer than it should have.
The
in
four
the
chairs looking at
situation.
each other.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now
Well,
that
locationally, it had been set up 2 or 3 different ways.
yes,
But that location was, I'd venture to say that was the worst location.
Well,
because there was no AC,
It
there was
was-
no heat.
yes.
You had to compromise by having either the super loud air conditioner box, or you had to have the like 3 space heaters and hope you didn't flip a switch on the breaker.
Yeah.
right.
But it worked.
Now-
By God, it worked.
Now the heat being out there did provide us with one of the best
The Marcus Babushka.
Marcus Babushka.
I wish we
Just-
could find the picture.
Sometimes Trudy sees things wrapped up real tight in blankets, and she goes, "I miss Marcus." Because
You know, I actually saw Marcus yesterday.
did you?
Yeah, he come by Vape Sack Prime, and he walked in, and I was watching King of the Ring, the compilation on Peacock,
Cool.
on Peacock.
Yeah.
And so he kind of got suckered in for like an hour.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
It was a good
You
time.
gotta love some wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
The other two locations that we have recorded at are Grape Sack Prime and grape sack redux.
Vape sack.
Vape sack.
Vape
Vape
sack.
sack.
Sorry, I couldn't remember.
Oh, I hate vape sack redux.
That was
Yeah,
the
it
one.
was
We've
bad.
had to do, I think, 2 episodes there, and that was
That's
pretty rough.
That
Honestly,
sucks.
both vape sacks suck because
Yeah.
there's always one of us that's having to work.
Yeah. The redux though, like
Because it's almost like you get cucked every time a customer comes in.
Oh, I remember one-
because you're over in the corner and you're looking and you're like, "There's my podcast
yep.
doing its thing without me."
Yeah.
right?
And
Yeah.
here I am stuck with this fuck bag.
Yeah, that's me.
I remember there was one time we had a topic that you were like just about to go into, and then
And it
a
was
customer
gone the
came
rest of
in,
the episode.
and then you had that one customer that was asking you every single question under the sun, including about the podcast.
Yeah.
that you couldn't be on.
Yeah, I was having to miss out on recording said podcast because I am sitting there talking to you about your indecisiveness.
Yes. Because some people look at buying vape liquid or disposable vaporizers the same way they look at buying a new car.
I mean, I did that too, but I was a lot. I don't feel like I was that poorly
I've
indecisive.
seen them look at the wall of disposables for 30 to 40 minutes.
Oh, the
before.
disposables. Yeah,
Yes.
no.
I'm like, you're literally throwing that away.
Yeah, that's like you look at that like you're buying a flash drive. Does it have what I need? Yes, it's what I need.
I have people that try to act like sommeliers that don't even know what that
Yeah.
word means.
Yeah.
You know,
It really tastes the cherry.
like they want to just get to the nitty gritty of every finite detail of the flavor before it can taste good to them mentally,
Yeah,
and I hate that
Yeah.
because I'm lying to you.
right.
I hate to be that way to everybody, but if it gets past like this is the flavor description and whether or not I like it, you're getting into some deep-rooted bullshit that is called salesmanship.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but that's how I'm wired. If I like something and you're asking me a question about it, you're going to get a cascade of just, oh, this is a decadent strawberry that has a crisp graham cracker crust and fluffy cheesecake filling with just the right amount of tang.
Yeah, because it's all about flavor. So it's like, what does this taste to you? Because it's not even like it's all fake flavoring. So fake flavoring to me tastes different than fake flavoring to you. So it's all going to be different. And then whatever nicotine they're putting in there or salt nick is going to
Yeah.
change a different flavor.
See, I like to tag the phrase onto a lot of my sell pitches of your mileage may vary because that absolves me from having them come back and say, well, you said it would be just like this. I said, no, I said it was like that for me. Your mileage may vary.
I bought this vape 2 months ago and it's not tasting right anymore.
And I like to do the old rip tripper and cover it whenever I say it. Like, but just remember, taste is subjective.
Sick as tits.
This flavor is straight chucking, and it's sick as tits.
Smooth as a stripper's asshole.
Oh my god!
Oh, he had some really dumb phrases.
Oh my gosh.
See, what you want to do, Vapor, is you get a 3mm macro coil.
See, what you do is like I was suffering from dry knuckles, and now you know how I fix the dry knuckles.
I bet you took a
got
supplement.
this supplement that
I
you
breathe.
mix in your drink and you drink it, and then I sauna, and then I read these books, and I'm not proud of this Ferrari, I'm more proud of these 4 bookshelves, and now my knuckles are not dry; they're dripping with oil.
He what's the kids channel that he started up?
Super bloke.
Oh my god, dude!
Yeah, the vape guy.
I don't
See,
want
I
to.
just want to know what character creation process he went through to make Super bloke happen.
I don't know if I want inside the mind of Rip Trippers. I think that is
Look, the Super bloke is nowhere near as bad as his breathing.
oh, you gotta.
Yeah, like I'm gonna do the caveman cycle or whatever the fuck.
You know, that would be interesting to find out what a kind of character creation process he went through to try to develop himself as an internet
I
personality.
feel like it was very similar to the one in Call of Cthulhu, just based on how the man portrays himself and is on his channels.
Wait,
it
hold
has
on.
to be some kind of grim dark TTRPG that he's playing.
Oh, you know what? That seems like it'd be something good to talk about. Let's get into that after this message from our theme song.
Oh, gather round, you mates of mine, for tales of nerds and lore. 3 best friends
Hi, everyone. I'm Austin Shazam. What the fuck are you supposed to say about a character mold or something? Pfeiffer.
I'm Otto, the Boulder Cogdell.
And I'm Dane Tiny Holland.
And we are.
I just kind of wanted to see what would happen.
we are.
Tab probably cried.
We are
Ha ha.
we are Nerded Through the Grapevine, the podcast where three best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture.
You ever just throw a flashbang into someone else's brain?
I'm
and just
pretty
see-
sure that's what I just did with Tab.
I'm
You're welcome.
a little concussed.
You're a high pitch ringing.
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's good. It's
While
good.
you recover, I got Baldur's Gate recently because I got a PS5.
I'm sorry.
You know what? Honestly, I
On
think
both counts.
I enjoy both of the things that I have.
And that's okay. You're allowed.
And I was building the character because
You don't have to like good things.
I'm not normally an RPG guy. I was a Call of Duty person. I was get cracked out on some Mountain Dew game fuel and run forward shooting gun until I die or they die kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I've been enjoying the kind of hitting the brakes on it. I've been getting into my older age, and I'm hitting the brakes on my gaming. And I was firing this game up, and I realized this is a pretty in-depth character creator because also it's based on D&D. Because I was playing it, setting up my character, and all of a sudden I got to a part where I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to have to put down skill points and things. And I had to remember how to play D&D. But it made me think, I played a couple of video games before. I have played more than one RPG. And character creators are not always built the same.
They are not all built equally.
They are not. Because you have, for every one of Baldur's Gate or Elden Ring that you have where you can just change everything, you have one that's like one in these old Lego games where you kind of change out the color of the arms, the color of the body, and that's about it. And I was wondering, have you ever done a character creator that you liked or didn't like?
I can remember some old character customization things
Oh, yeah?
that made their armor different and things along those nature. There was this old one that was really cool for the time that I played on N64. Oh, I think it was called Maximo and Ghosts to Glory, I think was the whole name. But it was about this little Roman soldier, and you had to run around fighting all these undead zombies, but it was very cartoonish. And the more that you killed the zombies, the more that you got into these different levels and arenas. There was almost like Mega Man style customization and power ups. Like if you chose to go and get this color, then your armor that you were wearing would turn this color with this effect, and your sword would get this kind of effect.
Okay, so you said it was Roman soldier fighting zombie?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you had to your main purpose was to actually go and try to save your princess from this wicked spirit that had taken over this king's position, kind of thing. And it was awesome. It was a really cool. The emperor's actually a demon, and the
Right.
princess in danger. Da da da. You got to go save her. She's your love, but your best friend throughout this is actually your worst enemy at the same time, because your worst enemy and your best friend is death itself. So, but I can remember the armors and the different things, but you'd have to pick your path in order to get your customized armor and everything. So you'd have to play it carefully, otherwise you'd end up with a shitty set of armor in the area you go into that wouldn't. It's strategy as well.
Right. That's one of those games where you can't pick what looks great. You have to pick what works well.
Yep. You can't be super customized on that. But then again, that was N64, and I can't think of a lot of N64 PlayStation styles that you could really make character customizations on, besides maybe
The Tony Hawk games.
well, the Tony Hawk games you could. That was a good one. Yeah, fuck, I haven't thought about that. That's PS1.
Yeah, and N64 because there's Pro Skater.
Because I always just played as the base characters. I always hated making my own characters.
Really?
On that. Yeah, because
I loved making my own guy.
I was always either like Rodney Mullins or somebody like that I knew, or Tony Hawk, or I would be the
Bam
guy that,
Margera.
or the guy that always fought everybody. I forget his name.
Well, see, most character creators in video games, they're just cosmetics, okay? And one of the greatest ones that I've experienced recently is Star Citizen. Every time that they do a big release, you have to end up recreating your characters. And I've made true works of art, because what they've done is you can pick male or female, and then you know give them hair and all this shit. Well, on their face is a bunch of little dots. And so you can click the dot and you can drag it. So you can exaggerate or minimize different features. And I've made some very magical creations. It's a great time. And the level of detail, it's unbelievable how detailed the things in this game are.
Right.
But if we're going to talk about character creation, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning of character creation, back to 1974. What was in 1974, you may ask? Well, that's when the first edition of Dungeons and Dragons come out.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep. It was tactical. It doesn't matter. That's when it came out anyway.
Yeah, because it I don't think it was initially
trying to
called
find the
Dungeons and
publisher.
Dragons, and it was played with D6s initially, wasn't it?
No, it was it was played with more D6s than it is now, but there was still the D20, and a lot of times your class was dependent on your race. So if you played an elf, you was a ranger. It's just what it was.
There wasn't like you can't pick a race in class. It was like
Right.
fighter man, wizard.
Yes.
Yeah, that was really. I watched a video on some of the old D&D stuff.
And now now you can just be whatever you want to be.
Too
you know?
much, as some would say.
Sometimes, honestly, the hardest part of Dungeons and Dragons is the character customization, because you have to get your stats in several different ways, be it rolling 4, dropping 1, or the point buy system, or standard array. And then you have to decide where these numbers go, and then there's rules based on your race and your class, and then the job, and and so you end up spending probably, if you're doing it old school, like with a book, it's over an hour just to make a character.
I've had several
flipping back and
session
forth.
zeros or -1s that are just character
Yes.
creation. That's a common thing, because also when you have someone that's never done it before,
Oh yeah,
you have to have someone that usually whoever the DM is like going to be in charge of the new person.
yes.
Because once you get there,
Well, I end up being in charge of all the people, because even if they've played a bunch, it's usually so long since they've played, they've forgotten.
Well, that's what happens every time I get to play, because every time I get to play, something happens and I never finish my campaign. And everybody, like, I saw Brittany the other day in the store that's doing our D&D campaign with John Lamb with us.
Yeah.
The girl that's playing the elf. Yeah, saw her in the store the other day, and it was so awkward because I was like staring at her guy because I didn't recognize
Was he
him.
hot?
Well, he's an attractive dude, but I was just like trying to I was staring at him like, I know this guy. Who is this guy? And then she walks around the corner. I'm like, I know the boss. And then I was like, I wanted to have engagement, but I was also in the grocery store, so I was in my
You're
anxiety.
married.
Shut up! No, I meant like talk. I wanted
Social engagement.
I wanted social
Okay.
engagement, but I was also in the grocery store. So if you ever see me in the grocery store, regardless of how good a buddy I am with you, I'm most likely going to say, how you doing? Quick catch up. And then I got to go. At this point, it was a right after work grocery store
oh,
run.
that's
Oh.
extra
So
anxiety.
it was oh, hey, it was good to see you.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just wanting to go home.
But how you're talking, where you don't get to actually finish what you're playing? No, that's just playing D&D. You're playing D&D correctly. It's rare to finish a campaign.
Tiny and
Yeah.
me were having so much fun.
We were.
Trying to help out the newbies and teaching them how to D&D and different stuff, and it was going good. And John was doing his first time as a DM, and he was doing.
And he started doing really, really good. I was proud of the boy.
Maybe one of these days, we'll be
Maybe
able to finish
Angie
it
and
out.
Asen can make a resurgence one day.
Maybe one of these days, Angie and Asen can once again have a good and brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Because there were some fun moments that happened, man. Like, okay, so quick sidebar. So at one point, we're in a camp at night. Well, Angie, is this quiet, sullen guy, but he likes to have fun too. But it's always in ways you won't expect.
is he
right?
always in a fishing shirt?
No.
Might as
So,
well be.
I was on watch. Okay, so I'm in the woods and I'm watching, and nothing's really happening. I did mark a kid, but he deserved it.
Oh,
But-
okay.
This is true.
I did try to scare them. They didn't listen. They were warned. They did not comply. They died.
Stand your ground.
Yeah, the DM
You're welcome,
was-
DM.
The DM was okay with them dying. Otherwise, they would not have kept pressing the murder hobo.
Yeah. Well, see, I wasn't being a murder hobo. We were trying to do a job Angie wants to just do the job. He don't care about this little BS on the sides.
You can't tell me
Unless
he's not a
he
stab
is the
first.
one stirring the BS.
You can't tell me he's not a stab first, then ask questions.
He
guy.
absolutely is.
Okay, thank you.
You know,
Murder.
not going to deny that.
It's just depending on the severity of how aggravated he
Yes.
is, whether it's going to be a death shot for a kill or if he's
Yes.
just going to poke you. Okay, I
And
get it.
and he's straight up. He'll tell you, you do what I want or you're going to die. So anyway, at the end of Watch, I believe Asen was next. So Angie has the disguised self that's a free action that he can do as part of his Gloomstalker stuff. So I disguised myself as a taller Asen and walk in there, wake him up with my hand over his face, and I talk to him like I'm him from the future. And if he accomplishes this task, that's how he gets to be this tall and this big. So he will truly be a giant among his people.
Yes.
Oh boy.
And
I'm a
it was
dwar-
amazing.
I'm a dwarf raised by gnomes, so I've always thought that I was a giant amongst my people. And then I came in contact with my first round of folks, and Angie just so happened to be one of them, and he was an 8-foot tall bugbear.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just like, oh, I'm really not.
Yeah. So imagine a
Hey, brother, I guess I'm really not as tall as
Bugbear-sized
I
dwarf.
thought I was out here in the forest region of Couch.
Yeah.
That's the thing about D&D that I like a lot, though, because it's not just character creation. You can have your own little world backstory
Because
creation.
it is the ultimate character creator because you can do almost anything, especially now with
Yeah.
all the like extras.
I will
they have.
say, as much as I love the character creation process in D&D, and it's streamlined with some apps that are out there, you can make a character in like 5 minutes. It's amazing. But I'm getting ready to play a Call of Cthulhu campaign, and the character creation process in that is in some ways more simple because you don't have to worry about the numbers as much because they're just kind of given to you based on different things. But the part that's the greatest is I can be whatever I want. Like my character, he's an old World War II vet because we're playing around that time, and he come back from war. He watched his brother die in his arms. He carries a bone fragment from his brother in his pocket as his little keepsake. But he came back and now he's a bare knuckle boxer. That's how he makes his living, and he works on small engines on the side. And because of those things, my stats got laid out in specific ways because that was my backstory.
Yeah.
So is Call of Cthulhu a separate style RPG?
Yes,
What era is it? More like Lovecraftian? Like,
it is.
like
It is based on H.P. Lovecraft's The Call of Cthulhu because it's literally called The Call of Cthulhu.
So you're basically just normal ass people
Yes.
that are in a world of what's that word for it?
Grimdark.
Yeah, but I was thinking about
Eldritch
the
Abomination.
Eldritch Abominations. Yes.
Because you have to keep up with sanity as a stat, and you can learn magic, but it's at the cost of your sanity.
Yeah, and you're
And you
super
can literally die from fear.
like you're also super squishy like
Oh yeah.
and you can't heal overnight. There's the D&D podcast I follow. They're doing a Call of Cthulhu season, and it can take you like months of in-game time to get a couple of health points back because it's a lot slower pace RPG. It's not
It
meant
is.
to be.
It's very story driven. See, with D&D, you can have a story driven one, or you can have one that's more like a dungeon crawl. Like we gotta get this thing from this dungeon, so here's all these different steps and fightings we got to do.
And it's definitely set up more for that than for story stuff because Call of
No.
Cthulhu. You
Call
have
of Cthulhu is story.
right. That's what I was saying. D&D is more set up for action. Call of
Well,
Cthulhu is more set up.
D&D can be either or.
D&D has to have a balance
Yes.
right
because
but-
if you get overly fighty, that also is gonna tax the party a little bit because you can't connect
And
with
you're
each
going to
other
end
and
up
learn.
killing your characters,
Yeah.
your PCs, and you don't want that.
Right. Well, I was saying more from like a game design perspective of like how the skills are laid out because where D&D you'll have like dexterity is your sleight of hand.
Yeah, but
Wi-
a lot of your skills can also be used in a social setting. It's all according to how you build your characters. See, the problem is, especially with a lot of new players that want to play like a face tank kind of role, they min max to where all of their stats are there for combat. and you end up with very unstable gameplay like that. I do a mix of both. Granted, I want to be like good out there on the battlefield, but I want my stats to work socially as good, if not better. Like Angie, he's like the fucking angel of death if you put him out there with some low light conditions. But he can also get stuff done in a social setting, albeit some things are more of a struggle for him because of his prickly personality.
Who was your favorite character you've ever created on D&D? I'm sure you've had a fun one there, Otto.
I had a couple. I think my first one that I really fell in love with was I had a high elven sorcerer named Natsu.
Ooh.
Flame sorcerer. He was every one of my D&D characters, I feel like I'm putting a little bit of my own personality into.
You do.
And I was a little bit angry and it was like I was in my early 20s. I had a lot of emotion and self stuff that I was going through. And he was kind of a spoiled, I'm going to do and say whatever I want because my dad's rich and I'm going to do this. It was a part of me that I wanted to let out, but couldn't, I think. But he went crazy because he dropped and he like went down and came back so many times in one session because he got wrapped in a rug of smothering.
Ooh, that
Yeah.
sucks.
Well, he was like flame sorcerer, red scale, he had draconic ancestry, so he's like, I'm part dragon. That means I'm immune to fire damage. No, it doesn't. It means that you are resistant to it.
Yes.
So I was playing him as like, no, he's like, I don't care. I'm a dragon. I can do what I want. And he was wrapped in his rug of smothering, kept doing burning hands. And it would hit the rug, but also would hit him. And he would drop, and then the healer standing over it would spare the dying. And then another round, and then he'd drop, and then he'd spare the dying. And he basically dropped like 6 times one time in a combat. And I talked to my DM, I'm like, hey, going up against the Veil that many times can't be good for you.
No.
So the next session, I rolled some dice, and my character saw Happy, the little flying talking cat from Fairy Tale. Because if you didn't know, Natsu is the name of an anime character, and he has a little companion called Happy. None of the party could see Happy. So I'd be sitting there like talking to Happy, like I'd roll a check for something, and then I'd have Natsu be like, I don't know, Happy, like, it's still pretty nervous out there. Like, I don't know if I can do that, but I think I can. And the party just saw me talking to myself in the corner. They're like, we have to get them to a cleric or something. And then my other one was I got to play a barbarian. It was pretty fun. I did level 20 barbarian with a life-stealing sword.
Nice. See, one of my favorite characters I only ever got to use as an NPC because it would take the right group and it would just be it'd be difficult because he was a changeling, and the changeling as just part of that race can completely change their appearance, just at will for no spell points or anything. So I also am a fan of a character that's got something a little broken about him. So he was going to be basically a little schizo. Depending on his mood and what he was doing, he would look different ways. So battle time, boom, look like a dwarf. Just running around trying to do social stuff, he can be an elf. So his race was going to change, at least in a cosmetic sense, based on what was happening. And each one of those race swaps, they would have a different way of speaking, a different set of mannerisms, and a different voice. Like, it was completely a different person.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was very fun to NPC, but it would not be easy in an actual player setting.
Yeah, I think that my favorite that I've ever gotten to play has actually been this last one with Asen. Just because it was so character driven from an actual character in real life
Yeah.
that I've made up an entire history and backstory over Asen, because he's secluded in the forest region located at the base of the mountains. The forest region is called the Starry-Eyed Forest of Couch. The Starry-Skied Forest, of Couch. He was raised by gnomes because he was a mountain dwarf that fell out of his mountain cave and rolled down to the gnome settlement at the bottom of the mountain, where the gnomes found the baby and
Lord.
raised him as their own. He stayed in the library researching all these things, but all the gnomes know is gnome knowledge, and gnome knowledge has a lot of bias to it. So all he can tell you is just what the gnome knowledge bias is, but nothing past that. Because if you want to talk past that, you're lying to him, and he doesn't want to hear it.
It was very fun to play at a table with him.
Oh my god! Because I liked it. I liked it. I was a druid, and a dwarf druid that it was a star map. I forget what it was. The
It
star.
was a circle of stars.
Yeah, Circle of Stars druid, and that means my focus was also had extra things to it. But I got to describe what my focus was, and my arcane focus was a cylindrical kind of like crystal tube that when I breathed in from it, it would light up with constellations, and I would exhale a vapor, and that was my spell every time.
Oh,
I would
you
cast.
got vaping into D&D.
I made sure that I told everyone, "Have a good 'un, brother," or "See ya, hun. Have a good 'un, hun." My favorite kill shot that I ever got to make.
Yeah, it was so good.
I think that I ended up cleaving the boss
had to
in
mute.
half with the swipe. Because it was a no. I sent a ray of light into an undead boss that went inside of him and exploded him from the inside out with light, and just completely like disintegrated him. And at the end, whenever he was starting to blow, I turned away and I said, "Have a good 'un, brother."
Hell yeah.
So great.
Oh gosh, Asen Knoll was his name. Asen Knoll from the Forest Couch region.
Well, see, my character Angie was based on the real life Asen's best friend, so we kind of played on that angle in there, and it was great. And see, it was fun relaying the D&D characters' events to the Couchmen in real life, because they were like, "Hell yeah, I sound cool as shit."
Yeah, because it would be because it was like because we'd get in there and we'd update them, and Angie would be like, "So who the fuck up this time?"
Yeah, because he even said to me at one point, he goes, "Well, if you're gonna make me badass," and I said, "Angie, that's the only thing I know how to do.
Oh my
Because
god.
when it comes to min-maxing, your boy's good at it."
Asen decided to heal our elf friend with a spell that creates any kind of animal that I want to, and it's like a healing spirit. And I said, "Well, she looks like she's having a pretty rough time. It looks like she could use a big snuggly bear."
She needed a bear hug.
Oh lord.
Oh, and I did. I sent a snuggly bear, and it helped heal her. So, but anyway, it was
It was great.
It was good.
Right.
There's a few times I'd have to mute my mic because we played on Discord, and just because it's a semi-serious moment, but I'm laughing so fucking hard at just the lunacy that yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you ever wanted to see some character customizations that some of the Grapes have done, you could always get on YouTube and give some of our older videos a watch on there. If you get on the YouTube and look up the Grape Flavored Gaming section,
It's true.
you can see Soul Calibur when myself and Dane played. We made a doctor character and a lizard character, and it made a love story about them. And then we were obsessed with the love story because we made another one that was called "I'm Not a Horny Teen."
Okay, it's good information to know.
Yes, that was that. See, in the Dr. Lizard love story, it was between a very powerful bottom doctor and a very lovesick pirate character. Because on that character customization area, you
Did
could
you
make
say a power bottom doctor?
absolutely because you could
Well, I
make the
thought-
characters like every part of them increase or decrease in
Okay,
size
so
how you wanted to.
hold
So
on,
they just
hold
had
on.
really big ass, fat ass
Oh,
bottom.
that's
Okay.
what
It's a
you
powerful
meant.
bottom.
Okay,
Power bottom is a term that
I-
means something totally different.
I understand what it means, but you'd have to watch the video and understand how powerful that bottom was.
Yeah, when
I
you
understand
said a
that as
power
well.
bottom, I was expecting for the other one to be like a soft top or something.
Yeah, that was what I thought the next words were going to be, and they weren't at all.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, that's a weird thing to. I mean, because like that's not something you usually present yourself with. Of like, hi, I'm this. I'm a power bottom. You know.
I mean, they'll tell you when they are, though.
Yeah. Yeah. You usually know.
And honestly, too, Tiny and myself work as retail employees at a vape shop. You have two professions out there like that will guarantee you to get you the most stories and dirt on people and you didn't ask for it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And that's going to be number one, working in any kind of law enforcement. Like, you're not asking for this stuff. People will just tell you.
right.
They know you're a cop. They're just going to tell you. Why people have such guilty consciences that they got to tell you when you're off duty in your boxers and a T-shirt walking your dog who's got diarrhea.
I feel like this is a very personal.
It fucking
I feel like this has
example.
happened.
Fucking happened. I hate hatred. Number two, be a vape shop retail employee because we're also unlicensed therapists apparently.
Yes.
I have heard about many divorces when I worked at Academy because I'd have to ask them if they wanted a credit card. They're like, no, my credit's froze. I'm going through a divorce right now. And I'm like, you could have just said no.
No, look, I've gotten shit like that when they go, I just need a coil for this, and I'm like, what is this? This right here. I'm like, okay, can I see it? Oh, so it's blah 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 tank. Yeah. All right. Well, do you want one or do you want a whole box? I just want one. And I'm like, well, they're cheaper when you buy the whole box because they come in a 5-pack. By the time you buy 2 of them, you've almost paid for 5. You're only like $1 or $2 away from that because they're $7 a piece after tax. Unless it's the super expensive ones, I charge $5.99. Period, because I don't want to go through all the rigmarole of cutting one off and handing it to you because that doesn't sound like a lot of work, but you end up with 6 open boxes like that, and nobody wants one that's been done like that and pieced back together to make a whole one.
Correct.
But anyway, and they're like, well, see, I don't have the money for all that. I understand what you're trying to say, but I'm going through a divorce and, somebody shot my truck yesterday and it ain't running. And I woke up this morning, I found out I got erectile dysfunction
And my dog ran away.
and my dog won't even look at me. I put out the food and my dog's like, nah, you should have let me go with mom. And I'm like, your mom's dead to me. That's an average encounter at the vape shop. That's not even a strange one.
I
That'll
thought I
be
would-
$8.95, sir.
I thought I would show you boys the Power Bottom character, Dr. Power Bottom. He was Dr. Midnight as a Power Bottom.
I mean, I do remember because I did watch the video before
Oh, yeah.
I was included on the show.
I just I got to scrolling real quick on there. I was like, I wonder if I could just see what these characters are. Hold on, let me
He
see
had a
what that.
powerful bottom.
Let's see what the sexy lizard that they fell in love with, the sexy lizard pirate. The sexy lizard. that's just.
Oh, boy.
It's a fairy wizard. It's a
Yeah.
fairy lizard pirate.
Yeah, it is.
We did.
How did you get a power bottom and a power top to fall in love? That typically doesn't happen.
That just sounds like a fist fight waiting to
It
happen.
does. So I don't understand how that worked.
I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. I came. What?
Yeah, pretty much.
No, you didn't.
Gotta be.
Well, I mean, it's one of those. Don't touch me. I will come.
That's gotta be it.
Don't bully me. I'll come.
Yep. That's it. That's gotta be it. It's gotta be. I don't know. I don't think we thought too much past that. Also, if you watch further on in the Great Flavor Gamings, you can watch us play Lawnmower
Yeah,
Simulator.
you did start a business.
The Lawnmower Simulator is like watching is lawn mowing from God's perspective.
Look, I played Lawnmower Simulator. It's relaxing in a way, but it's also literally one of the dumbest games I've ever played.
Is it worse than Power Washing Simulator?
Power Washing Simulator can at least be relaxing and not anxiety
Oh, you got
inducing.
you got stuff happening to you on Lawnmower Simulator that
You're
you're
like,
like,
oh.
what am I hitting? I'm not hitting
Yeah.
anything. I'm not anywhere close to something. What
Yeah.
are you talking about?
If you turn too hard, you make divots and you lose money. And I'm like, this doesn't happen in real life. I can turn as hard as I want and the grass is fine.
Also, it doesn't matter. Dad's not going to see back here.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just me.
No.
Dude, I remember one time I had a bent blade on a mower and I put like 3 or 4 divots into the ground turning because I like hit a rock or something and just started chucking up dirt. I'm like, that's far enough back in the field. I'm not going to say
I
anything.
mean, look, here's the thing. How I grew up, I don't even think I ever had a sharp lawnmower blade. I know they were dull because I hit my foot with one and it didn't even cut me.
Damn.
It cut my shoe some, but I'm here to tell you, a push mower, that blade slings around. It hurts so bad if they hit you in the foot because it hit me like in the ball. Oh boy, I laid in the yard for a few minutes.
Tiny.
Oh, I think
You're
you
lucky to still have a foot.
Yeah, most
I
people
know.
aren't worried about if it hurt or not. They're more worried about if.
Well, I wasn't sure if I still had toes. That's how bad it hurt.
I was raised on a show called Rescue 911.
Mhm.
And on Rescue 911, William Shatner would have described to me a scene, but you lost your foot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Exactly that same thing happened to a child, and they lost their foot.
Yeah.
I mean,
know.
the church we went to,
Yeah, one of the praise and worship leader lost half of
he
his
was
left
from the
leg
knee
from it.
down.
Yep. He was a through the knee amputee because of it.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Or
He
no,
was-
it was below the knee because
I-
he had a little bit of shin.
Yeah, we were at a camp out one time at his house for VBS, and he was like, "Oh, can y'all put your foot on your head or stand on your own head?" And then he took his leg off and put it on top
Oh,
of
yeah.
his head. It was pretty cool.
Well, see, he also liked to play jokes on people.
Yeah,
See, I knew him. Okay, when he first came, he was working with the youth because there was a time that he didn't, and then he started again. It was this whole thing. But anyway, so when he first started working with the youth group the first time, I would say a sophomore, maybe junior. No, anyway, I was in high school, but I wasn't
One of them, mate.
around the end. Yeah, I was probably about sophomore. Anyway, so the pastor's daughters were also in youth group. There was the two twins. The one twin brought her boyfriend that particular Friday night gathering, and we were playing two-hand touch football. This guy, it was his first instance at the church. Never knew Wayne, nothing. Well, you know how sometimes when you play two-hand touch, sometimes just running, you accidentally touch somebody too hard, and
you're
it's
shoving them kind of.
yeah,
you
it's
know?
a complete accident. You know, you're not trying to throw him to the ground, but it's easy to accidentally touch too hard. So he touched Wayne a little too hard. Wayne's leg pops off about 6 inches and turns all the way around backwards because
I knew
he
that was coming.
didn't have his running brace on, his running connector on this
He
particular.
didn't have the
time.
sport leg on.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't have this leg in sport mode, and this is back when prosthetics were like that beige plastic with a rubber foot. Very not good for actual athletics. Well, he rolls over onto his back and he starts going, ah, ah, and the guy's literally pulling his hair, going, "Oh my God, I just broke Wayne's leg. Oh my God," he's freaking out. And so as he's walking with his back turned to Wayne realizes how much this guy's freaking out. So he stops, he puts on his leg, walks up behind him and puts his hand on his shoulder and he goes, "You gonna be all right, bud?"
I would shit myself.
Yes.
I could not function after that.
Yeah, Wayne was cool. See,
And then 30 minutes later, we all ate a goldfish to prove how much we weren't scared of Satan.
we didn't do that, but Wayne
wasn't that weird
look,
of a youth
here.
group.
One of Wayne's other funny jokes. He had just bought one of the Tacomas right when they came out at first, and he thought it'd be funny to take 5 of his old legs and put them in the back. Because the thing to do at that time when you got a new vehicle, at a small church like we had, everybody's going to come out and be excited for you and want to look at your truck. And so as you're looking, he goes, "The back's got a lot of leg room."
God, I love
And
Wayne.
not a single person could argue with him.
That's true. Thump.
That was a fun church show. Yeah, that youth group, we didn't swallow goldfish, but we did eat ice cream out of a gutter.
Dude, the gutter was great until
And-
one of the kids decided to be a dipshit, and it always happened.
What
Or,
they do.
I'm going to pour Mountain Dew and popcorn in it on the ice cream.
Why?
Because they're fucking stupid.
it's high schoolers.
They're like, there's no rules when you're eating ice cream from a gutter.
I mean, they're not wrong, but also
Yeah,
like
but
there's
don't
still
be
some
stupid.
moral
There's
standards
people eating downstream
downstream on the ice cream
because
gutter.
the parking lot was a slight hill, so it would roll.
Yep, and then the Snickers out of the toilet.
Yeah, bobbing for Snickers.
Right. What was that one? Like they'd make like a tunnel or like a horror. It'd be like horror house adjacent, like same idea, but through the church. where
What?
you'd
You
have
talking
to
about
like
sardines?
no. It was like
What?
it'd be an all night thing, or it wouldn't be an all night thing. It'd be like one of the night things where they'd put like trash bags up the stairs, and you'd have to like crawl up the stairs. And this,
I think that was still part of the Fear Factor.
yeah, it
we
was
had
like
a couple of
fe-
Fear Factor lock-ins.
Yeah.
There was an entire segment of like 2 months at my church, the youth group growing up, to where it was Fear Factor, but it was always like literally Fear Factor. Like, what do you think? Do you think that you're more scared of? You think you're more scared of eating this extra hot kimchi, or of Satan?
Well, see,
I'm more scared of Satan than I am of this kimchi. See, watch.
here's the thing. at that one, they did things like they would melt various chocolate bars and put them in diapers.
Oh, it was
And you had to put your
nasty.
face in there and eat some to determine what the kind of chocolate bar was.
I didn't.
Or
didn't
crawl
like that.
through a bunch of cooked spaghetti everywhere. That one was real uncomfy for me
Yeah.
because also I was not diagnosed autistic at the time.
There was
That's just sensory.
there was a candied onion.
Yeah,
that
there
had
was
to be
some.
consumed.
I think there was some fart spray that someone coated one of the sections in because it'd be in sections. You'd start at the base because our church was like a 2-story thing, and like the youth group and the kids ministry would all be upstairs. So you'd start at the
Oh
base.
yeah,
of
they
the
did
stairs.
do it twice because they did it once when I was in youth, and then
They did it once.
did it once when I was working there
'Cause
as
we
a
had-
youth as an adult chaperone.
By the time I was in youth, it was kind of the last hurrah of the youth group.
Yeah, you got the last of the good years.
Yeah, but I do remember the big shebang and a couple of the lock-ins. It was
Yeah,
a
the big
fun.
shebang was great.
Yeah, we went to. I don't know if it's still around, but in Crossville was like the Edge.
Livingston.
Was it in Livingston?
Livingston.
It
The Edge was in Livingston.
Yeah, that was really fun.
I
We had
wouldn't
that.
It was like a barcade, but for teenagers, so less bar but more cade.
I went and saw
Yeah.
a man play music there named Ryan Long. He was a Christian music artist.
Was he short?
No, he's relatively tall, like five.
That's why it was named Ryan Long.
5'11", 5'10", maybe. So not short, but not like.
So Ryan slightly above average.
Yeah, he had a really good song that I still remember that I'm going to sing to you guys right now.
Country Christian Outlaw Blues.
Nope. Nope. It's called Grady Smith. And it says, "Hi, my name is Grady Smith. If you don't like it, you can kiss my grits, 'cause I'm proud to be who I am." That's a really good, it's a cute song.
Oh.
I am only 3 feet tall, but I could probably run faster than most of y'all. I'm a small man, but I can dream. Oh, yes, I can. It was just he's a singer-songwriter kind of.
Yeah.
Didn't we have a band come to our youth group? at one point?
The
Salt?
band was okay. Yeah, we did.
1,000-Foot
Salt did
Crutch!
come. Well, no. Salt was a very local band.
Yeah,
Their trailer still exists,
I
even
can't-
if them as a band don't, because I seen it on a delivery one day and I went, "Oh my god, I remember them."
I can't find anything on them
we
online. 'cause
had we had more than one band that came.
We did a music video of theirs at our church, and I remember it was on
No, I
YouTube
think-
at some point, but I cannot find it.
No, I think that was for they were called Artery at the time, and now they're called Bright Gray.
No, this was for Salt because I
Was it?
remember we did it right before we went to watch Twilight New Moon because I
Oh.
remember I was in eyeliner and I was watching Twilight New Moon in eyeliner with the youth
It's
group.
called Guyliner.
No, this one was eyeliner.
Okay.
I have no shame in saying it was
I
eyeliner.
mean, that's fine.
But no, I remember it was. I played emo guy in the back because it was supposed to be like an emo bar or whatever that the main character or whatever was at for the music video. I don't remember.
I don't remember that. I might not have been there for that particular instance.
Right.
I was in one of those bands that performed at one of those youth group centers
Well,
like
see,
that before.
Well, see, we had a house band too, which I played in for many years. I played bass in there, and then I did sound at the big worship group downstairs
in Big People Church.
in Big People Church. But we had a Christian metal band come one time. They were called Hangnail. The guy that played guitar was probably one of the most incredible guitar players I've ever seen. He also had one of the most incredible arrays of guitar pedals I've ever seen, because I don't think they had the combo pedals at the time. If they did, I don't think you knew about them, because his was a giant rolling thing that unfolded and you flopped it down and there was like a big rainbow of shit. But he was like, it was awesome.
The one that I did was with my with my former producer. Back whenever I used to think that I was going to make it in the metal industry, but my former producer actually was from a Christian metal band called Aowen, and he wanted me to get involved into some of that stuff. So he said, "Hey, I'm playing this show. We don't have a singer for it. If you don't care, it's just going to be some cover music for this genre. If you don't care, you just about 5 or 6 songs. If you think you can do it, I'm like, cool, yeah, I'll do it." So I learned a bunch of Red. I don't know if you guys know Red.
I heard of Red, yeah.
Breathe your life into me. I can feel you. I'm falling. You know that song? Falling fast.
I believe you that is.
I
the
think
song.
that was about their big one
That
because
was-
they were like one of the one-hit wonder.
And there was
ones.
some Skillet.
Skillet, dude.
Old
Skillet.
frying pan.
Skillet was probably my favorite concert I've ever been to.
In all honesty, Skillet, the way that they do their screams, he shouldn't still have a voice. Like his scream is not technique scream. Like his scream is like
Well, he didn't scream often.
no, because why he didn't know your name.
Often.
Yes.
He did not scream frequently.
Oh,
Yeah. What did he scream?
ice cream.
Sure.
Fine, frick. So
French.
the way that character customization works within video games and stuff now is a whole lot more in depth than it used to be. Like even back in the Soul Calibur reigns that Dane and me were operating on. Like I've not played Baldur's Gate, but can you get pretty in depth with Baldur's Gate?
Ish.
It's not the most. I think it's more the amount of things you can do rather than the complexity
Yeah.
of things you can do. Because you can change a lot about them, but you can't go into like drag face options and like
Yeah.
nose sizes.
Have you ever been on Dwarven Forge?
No.
Okay, it's a site where you can make custom minis. Same idea. Apply that to the video game. It's got the same amount of, feature cosmetics as customization.
Ah.
And also, I will go ahead and say this as a member of the LGBT community, I enjoyed their character creator because a lot of character creators, the male female, you can't like swap between what features of both. It's either once you pick one, you're on that one, and with this one, you can select like it didn't matter, and you could even select how the characters would refer to you in game via pronouns, which I thought was really nice because you don't see that a lot in video games.
I mean,
So
from what
I
I've
am a
seen,
little biased of that.
From what I've seen, doesn't it just typically refer to you as they throughout the game?
No, sometimes it's a little bit.
It's been a while.
It's a little bit more like it. I really don't have run into many options of it. It's always referred to me as they, but in the way that they've let you like put different like male or usually female or male
Right.
hairstyles or body parts or different things.
Yeah, you can straight up put a dick on a female on
Right. Like you can
For
change.
instance,
Right, which is kind of nice because I know in some games like Elden Ring, you can go into like change. You can click and drag or like change nose size and like all this different stuff. This little minutia. This isn't like that. It's more instead of letting you do a whole bunch with a couple of things, it lets you do a whole lot of things. Kind of character creator.
Built like a lady with a ding dong. I mean, Dane. I've lived with Dane for years.
you
So,
saying
I mean,
Dane was a lady with a ding dong?
I mean, built like a lady with a ding dong. Have you ever seen Dane naked? Hello.
No,
I have
what?
not seen Dane naked.
I don't want to either.
It's the weirdest thing.
It's weird that you saw your roommate naked. That's the weird thing.
Well, I mean, how long?
We
have you
weren't
been-
living together at that point.
It's
How-
even
how
weirder
long
that
it-
you wasn't living together and you saw each other.
You don't
naked.
look at your best friends naked sometimes.
No, never.
I've never been in
I
a situation where my
make
best friends were
it
naked.
a
around.
literal point not to see my friends naked.
I'm just kidding, and I didn't actually see him naked.
I mean, my wife is my best friend, so she sees me naked.
That's different.
I think that most of the time the seeing in the full nude was just like an accident. But at the same time too, there have been instances to where I have greeted, the Mexican belt buckle.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's different than seeing your friends naked.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, because
Mm.
that
Well, there's still some mystery to it.
right. I'm not seeing everything.
The secrets are revealed for one specific spot, but there's still secrets remaining. I get it.
You know, one's like opening up the access port on like the bottom of a car. The other one is like taking the car apart. You know, like you can see some stuff you can't see. You usually don't see the wiring of the thing.
Well,
I saw his wiring during the smoothing.
he did. He also.
It was awful.
He also tried to cut my wiring one time. It was a very. He just had one quick shot, and then he tried to snip my wires.
He separated
Look,
them.
I went
He
too low.
DCS'd them.
I went too low.
He
I
did.
was trying to goose him like he does to people,
Yeah, he was trying.
and I went too low, and it was just as
Separated the
bad for
kid.
me
He was.
as it was for somebody else. Have you ever
he-
taken a half rotten peach that you didn't know was rotten, and you like shoved your finger at it, and then your finger goes and like it conforms to around your finger? That's exactly what it felt like, and it was extra warm.
Because I didn't get an appropriate response. All I did was just look around and look at him with the eyes that just said, "Why?"
Yeah,
It,
it did.
was,
Like,
it
have
wasn't
you,
like a funny It was like
Yeah.
you've hurt me.
have you, ever, have you
no!
ever touched? Have you ever touched the base of someone's penis but through their ball sack? I did that, and it was bad.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
I know what the back of the wiener feels like on another man.
Like the aftershock of my balls going back together made him like a clack. Like it was.
I remember I was sitting there. I saw you bent over, and Tiny just looked and went, and then it was immediately both. I could see on both of your faces you regretted the last 3 seconds of
Like,
what
yes,
happened.
like you split them like DCS, and they.
oh, I know. I'm well aware of
and,
what they
and
did.
they came back together like as quick as a judge's order. Like it is.
Yeah, because I yanked my hand out of there real fast, and I went.
That's not a
said
booty
something
hole.
like, "I wish I hadn't have done that."
Oh gosh.
that wasn't what I meant to do.
You just went, "Why?"
I said why. That was my one word response with why.
He
why?
was hurt. He was
Because-
hurt on an
what
emotional
am I
level.
like? And you're automatically sorry because you're both sorry for yourself and for me because you're sorry
was-
you had to go through it. You're
Yeah.
sorry you put me through it.
That was literally the last time that I've ever tried to goose somebody.
You-
I don't. I think
I gave it up.
You gave up
Once
the
you
life.
mess that up once, you never go back.
You know, it's been a pleasant evening with everybody hanging out and jabbering about some character creation. If anybody would like to check out Great Flavor Gaming and check out those videos, just look at the stupidness that we got into, Dane and myself, on those videos. I'd imagine that it wouldn't be too much better if you got us three making characters and putting them on videos for you, because it would only get worse.
Oh yeah.
I promise it would only get worse.
See, when I make characters on Star Citizen, everybody that I'm playing with in that gaming group, they make me stream so they can watch.
I understand.
Yeah.
I just refuse to watch you play Star Citizen anymore since the last time that I watched you play. You traveled for 45 minutes,
bad.
crashed into a fucking rock, and then you had
Well,
nothing to show
you
for
came
it.
at the wrong point in time.
If there's ever
I
a
was going to
point-
show you what I was going to show you after that, because I was like, well, at least I'll be back in a hangar.
you spent the load, baby. Like I already wasted 45 minutes of it on you. I couldn't no more after just travel and travel and travel. And I was thinking like, well, we were talking along the way. It was okay. But at the same time, I was like, God, how long have I been watching this video? I wish something would fucking happen.
Yeah, I wasn't even in one of my cool ships.
I can't get behind games that are like that. That's why I can't do Elden Ring. Whenever I
Honestly,
can play for 2 hours and then lose all my progress.
They have made the traveling much quicker and better now. But for somebody that's just watching, it would probably look like the most boring thing.
I feel like it's the opposite problem of Overwatch, because anyone that is watching Overwatch or Marvel Rivals has no idea what the fuck is
Right.
going on, because there's so much stuff happening,
Mhm.
whereas there's so little
Yes.
happening.
Yes. Well, if he would have popped in when I was like in a city or something, it would have been much more entertaining, because then you would actually be able to see how beautiful the game was. Instead, you just see my HUD when I'm in a cockpit.
You popped in on Tiny while he was in
You
the
come
middle
in
of
at the
Kansas.
wrong time.
I
It
got
was kind of like you was watching me take a dump,
I got in on a load screen.
essentially.
A
Yeah.
load screen that you can.
Yeah, and
push
I was
two
I was
buttons
even like,
for.
hey man, we almost there. It'll get better.
Yeah.
It'll get
And then,
better.
and then he's like, well, I just got to go over here real quick because I'm going to land on this side. Oh, shit.
Yeah. And then he was like, well, have a good one, brother.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait. But he was already gone.
I was out of there.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not even going to travel. I'm just going to pop back where I was and then show you the stuff.
I had to leave the country before the list dropped. Like, I was
Yep.
done. I'd waited long enough. So, Tiny,
What?
if a very powerfully built in the bottom region Dr. Manhattan walked in the room
Mm-hmm.
and handed you 3 grapes, what would you do?
I'd look at him and say, you're not my girlfriend. Because you're not.
Really?
Yeah.
Fine, then I'd just take them from him and shove them up my ass. Bye, everybody.
Here's to friends and phantoms bright in every joyous line.